Alright guys, so since none of the videos we did in class turned out, they were just taking too long, I thought I would do one where we can get straight to the point. To balance this image out, I want to put something over here. Somebody had suggested in class today a clock. So I can find a clock on the internet. We talked today about white space, a clock that fits the way we're going to look, or that fits the nice thing that we're going to do. Also, it has some white space around it. With layer mask, it's easier to select when you have something like white space around the object, and I will show you two different ways. I like these two. I think the red one would be nice in our image. I'm going to click View Image, right? Pull this to the side. I'm going to drag and drop my image in, all right? This is on its own separate layer. As I zoom in, you can see that there's white space. We're going to use layer masks, all right? Since there's multiple things that I have to select to get the layer mask to work, I'm going to use my magic wand tool since there's a white background, right? I'm going to select the white background as we talked about in class. If I apply that layer mask now, the clock is going to disappear, all right? We don't want that to happen, so I'm going to inverse my selection. Currently, the white space is selected. If I select inverse my selection, the clock is now selected, and when I apply the layer mask, everything else other than the clock is going to disappear. We also said there was white space left around, right? In this case, if I want to add now a drop shadow, I can click my mask, apply the layer mask, because there is nothing left for us to edit. Once I apply the layer mask, that is a permanent solution. We don't want to edit some things. We also talked about today how if I want to continue to edit somehow, if I wanted, we used the analogy of me and another student where we wanted to add our image to a crowd of people, and we decide that I don't want to be in the image anymore, and then later on we want me to be back in. If we kept the layer mask, we can just make that decision. But once we apply the layer mask, that turns in, the mask is no longer there, and that turns into an image, right? If I double click this, gets into my layer styles, I can add a little bit of a drop shadow to it, okay? I can change the size of the drop shadow. I can change the distance of the drop shadow, all right? If I click over here, preview, you can see that all I did was add the tiniest little drop shadow, all right? Click OK. Right now I can resize how I want. Again, remember, we got to be wary about making things bigger because they might be blurry. All right. Good. So there it is. I used layer mask to get that. If I found an image that had something in the background, like this, well, that's a solid color. We don't want to use that. Like this wall back here, let's say I wanted to bring this in. It's the wrong angle. But if I bring that in to my image and I want to select, we like using white or image with a solid color in the background, because if I want to select this using my magic wand, it's going to select areas of similar color, and I have to hold shift then, and now I've got to do a lot more work to make sure other things are selected. All right, so if I were to inverse my selection right now and apply the layer mask, you can see that there's a bunch of other stuff left. So finding an image that has a white background or a solid color background, something that you can easily use the magic wand tool, I can do this, but it will just take me a lot longer. All right? So that's layer masks. Please let me know if you have any other questions. Otherwise, happy working.